Hello and welcome back to Wireman's Whimsy. This is our last alternate card using elements from the January 2025 Paper Pumpkin Kit. So, quick tip before we get started. You know all those little plastic bags that the pieces, the elements of the kit come in? Sometimes it's linen thread, sometimes it's other things. Save them, and you can pop your blending brushes in them. Two things: it helps keep them a little bit moist without drying out in between, and if you store them all in a cup, this is going to get really close to the camera, I store all mine in a coffee mug. So you just pop them in and then they don't get each other their own color. So anyway, that's just a quick tip just before we start. So I've kind of started on this card because I need to know how it was going to go together before I did it. So I've got a 5 1/4 by 4 piece of basic white that I have used my blending brush with Berry Burst on just to give it some color. And I've got a Berry Burst card base. And I've got a Granny Apple Green 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. So we're going to do a narrow border. Because the card I did yesterday, we were debating about Granny Apple Green or Pretty in Pink. And then it kind of came to light that maybe I should have bordered the piece with Granny Apple Green and then put it on the Pretty in Pink. So we're going to try that tonight in a slightly different version. But what I really want to show you, which is the highlight of this, is I've got some of this woven ribbon. It's in white, and I used the stamps on it. So I stamped "You're My Favorite," and it just fits. So I've got "You're My Favorite," and then I used the leaves, and I've stamped it in Granny Apple Green. I tried the Lemon Lime Twist, but it was just a bit too light, so we've got the ribbon on here. So what we're going to do right out of the gate is we are going to attach our, and I was playing with different ideas, so paper has two sides. We're going to attach our card front to our mat. And this is 5 3/8 by 4 1/8 and a 5 1/4 by 4. So we've got those super narrow margins going on. Just a hint of that Granny Apple Green in behind. And then we're going to take our ribbon and we're going to attach it. Now I've just added, there we go. Sorry, I'm all over the place here, but we're gonna pop this in the middle. So I stamped it beforehand because it does get a bit wet and it takes just a minute to dry. So I'm going to make sure my "You're My Favorite" is centered. And then I'm just going to bring the rest of the ribbon to the back. So there we've got "You're My Favorite." And you can actually, I don't know if you can see it in the video, but you can actually see some of the pink through it. So it's really quite neat the way that works. And then what we're going to do, from here, we can just adhere this right to the card base. And I'm sure you can guess, based on the whatever's left over on my paper here, that I've taken some of the white string hearts that are strung together, and I have used my blending brushes on them to add some Granny Apple Green. And I'm just going to, I've used mini dimensionals on the back, and I'm just going to add them to the card. So I'm going to put a row like that. Oh, I'm skew whiff. So what I'm going to do actually is I'm going to use my tweezers so that I can see exactly where I'm putting this down. And I need to put this down right here, like this. There we go. Let's pop that down. We'll do the same thing here. Sometimes tweezers are so handy when your fingers get in the way and you can't see what you're doing or where things need to go. So again, we're just going to take and we're going to pop this down. And make sure we're relatively straight. There we go. We're going to do the same thing. I did 4 of these. I started off with the Berry Burst, but I wasn't a real fan of the way it turned out, but I really like the Granny Apple Green. And what you can do is, if you wanted to do this with a more masculine take, you could maybe do the Granny Apple Green, but use a Blueberry Bushel or an Azure Afternoon base and blend on here. So lots of different options, lots of different colorways that you could do. Just going to tap that down there. And then like that, there we go. And then we'll put the last one on, and I'm going to use, just to pull a bit more Berry Burst in, or the pink color, I'm going to use these hearts, and I'm going to just place them on the card, because honestly to me this is just that little bit plain. So we're going to play with where we put these little hearts. I don't know, I'm really not sure where I'm going to put them, so I might put one there and then pop one down here like this. And I wondered how they would stick to the ribbon, but I think there's enough going on with the ribbon, so I might just pop one there like that, and maybe one down here like this. And I'm just having a look, and I think because I've got lots of these left, if you've got other bling, you can use other bling. I'm just trying to decide if that's enough, and I think we're going to leave it. What you can do if you want is you can not assemble this completely, but just kind of assemble this but not put the ribbon on yet, and then you could always use the scatter technique, whichever scatter technique you like, and then add it on. So it's just a little bit more busy, but I really quite like how this turned out. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope you've enjoyed the series this week and all the alternates. So stay tuned for one of the new stamp sets next week. I think I'm probably going to work with Spring Corners and pair it with the Corner in Bloom celebration set. So stay tuned for that next week.